If you were the fallen angels and you came down to Earth and you just got your butts handed to you by Michael and the other angels, like the first thing you're doing is plotting your revenge.
What is that one Transformers movie? Isn't it called like Revenge of the Fallen?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I think personally, if you've ever seen a quantum computer, if you've ever seen they are not normal, they are not human,
No.
they are otherworldly. Like there's no doubt that it's fallen tech. So what I think that in order to figure out how they could defeat God, what they realized they had to do is they had to run some simulations, and they had to run as many as they could at one time, just like in the Avengers
end game.
Figure out what the possible solutions were. So I think that they had to make a bunch of quantum computers, but in order to do that, they had to get people to go all over the world and excavate, get the metals.
They need vibranium and adamantium.
They need all kinds of stuff to make these quantum computers. And so I think that what they did was they made a crap ton of quantum computers to run a bunch of different simulations to figure out how they could defeat God. And there's a possibility that we're all in one of those.
It's safe to say I'm never sleeping after this video. Take a look.
Go listen to the song You Were Just Another Part of Me by Michael Jackson.
You see, you gotta understand, MJ wasn't just making music just like a whole bunch of these amazing artists. He was casting frequency spells. He was literally trying to wake us up, and even we didn't realize he was trying to wake us up. That's why his energy shook the whole system. Y'all really don't understand it, do y'all? Michael Jackson was such a powerful figure, and his music moved us in such a way that they couldn't let him be him. They had to turn him white, y'all. They had to control his narrative, and they had to put handlers around him. His vibration was too strong. His music bypassed the mind and went straight to the soul. And when you have somebody touching frequencies like that, these devils around you, they don't want that, because you're going to collapse a system that they created in order to encapsulate you in. So don't let these people fool you. These are the same people who have been doing this to our people for the longest time in history. They take our old good heroes away and give us these new YN heroes that nobody asked for. But you see what's happening right now, right? These YNs are turning to YMs. And that's because we were always meant to break the system. You cannot contain us. But yes, y'all, the shift is here. Just like Michael Jackson said, brighter days are ahead. And that's exactly what the sun has been doing. It's exposing all the BS. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
The aliens want to incarnate on this planet. And the reason they cannot incarnate here is because the spiritual vibration is too low. Later, I got the actual numeric measurement of spiritual vibration. Our spiritual vibration here is, most of the people are focused on the first first three chakras. First chakra survival, second chakra one-to-one communication, family, and third chakra is social hierarchy. They don't go any farther in heart chakra and above, so they are all focused in the first three chakras, so which corresponds to very low levels of spiritual vibrations, like between 1 and 3, maybe 4 is for some of the people. But the aliens are there around 15, 17. It's way up there.
Wow.
But they call it ascension. They need us to raise our vibration. And the key how all other civilizations ascend, they go from voice to telepathy. And you become also psychic. Telepathy comes with psychic abilities. Then you finally disconnect from this materialism and become one leg stands on material world and one leg is firmly stands in spiritual world. Then you become nicer and kinder and more enlightened. They want us to upgrade. We are overdue for upgrade. The planet is ready. The genome of the humans is ready. The culture sucks. The culture is over-focused on money and profit and survival and all of that.
Against the 76ers, the night before Kobe's assassination, LeBron knew what was going to happen, okay? On the court, if you go on the YouTube and look up the Lakers game the night before Kobe's assassination in Philadelphia, there is a snake there, a snake logo on the court of a chopped up snake. Okay, that is a boule. That's also not just a boule secret society logo of an impending death, but it's an Illuminati sign. Remember, don't tread on me. That's part of it. But a serpent on the court. Everything's symbols would be their downfall.
That's right. That's right.
And so, you know, the following day, they're back in LA, and the press with the camera shows LeBron wiping his tears. He knew it was going to happen. Okay, his days are numbered. Your son was just a warning. We gave you what you wanted. You wanted to be the all-time scoring leader. We gave you that. We gave you millions. Now you're a multi-billionaire. We gave you everything. And now it's time to pay the piper.
Facebook is a psyop that everybody fell for. Mark Zuckerberg is not even his real name. He's a CIA op whose name is Jakub Greenberg, and he's the grandson of David Rockefeller. Zuckerberg is a German word for Sugar Mountain, their clandestine word for Facebook. This is Sugar Mountain and their data mining. Facebook started as a DARPA program called LifeLog, to where the government would monitor you through social media. But that failed and shut down on February 4th, 2004. Pentagon kills LifeLog Project, so-called LifeLog Project, ambitious effort to build a database tracking persons' entire existence. That very same day, Facebook was launched, February 4th, 2004. DARPA was originally ARPA, the government's Advanced Research Project Agency. Now known as DARPA, it created the foundation for the internet through its development of ARPANET in 1960. Crumb TV.
There's a lot of stuff in our skies we've been seeing lately. If you remember last year, Congress was starting to disclose a lot of things. They were literally saying, hey, things are coming from the sea. You know, we're gonna get disclosure. You know, Congress is starting to drip feed us information about different life forms and whatnot.
You believe that they leaking out information? Because it seemed like that Tic Tac video, that was in 2018. So how long is it gonna take for them to admit it?
I think to get society prepared, you have to drip feed them information, because what have we been seeing the past couple years? What happened a couple years ago in Miami? You guys remember that alien thing? So after you kind of desensitize people after a while, some shit happens. Oh, okay. And now it's like, okay, now I gotta go to work and pay taxes.
You talking about the mall incident?
Yeah, so here's the story that they were saying. They were saying it was some kids with some fireworks. Why do you need every cop in the entire city to come out just for some kids with some fireworks? Where's the footage? I've been to Bayside. There's cameras everywhere. Where's the footage of the kids playing with the fireworks? And why do we have one shot of some grainy ass footage way from some condo just showing, oh yeah, you know, that's what's going on? Just one piece of footage? That's all we got?
Nobody in that mall saw anything and came forward to anything. You can't tell everybody to shut up.
All the devices that we're using right now are all DARPA technology. You know what DARPA is? Think of it like SHIELD shield in Marvel. So DARPA is the arm of the government that is the shield and the sword. They create defense systems, offensive systems. So they're at least 50 years ahead when it comes to technology. You don't think they have something that can just disable all the footage at once? There was eyewitnesses saying that there was 10-foot tall beings that were gray phasing in and out of existence. And Representative Luna just said what? She said that these beings that they have information on are interdimensional. So if something is phasing in and out of existence, what does that sound like? That sounds like it's interdimensional.
Adam Sandler is married to Jackie Titone. She appears in a lot of his movies. We all pretty much know her. But did you know her dad, Joey Titone? A Florida lawyer who defended John Luke Brunel, an associate of Epstein, in 2015. Brunel had been involved in many scandals starting in the 90s before this, particularly because he ran a modeling agency that was involved in the sex trafficking. He even flew 3 12-year-old girls from France to the US as a birthday gift for Epstein. So, you know, we don't need to play coy and assume Joe didn't know, because that happened years prior. Brunel was one of many suppliers. Virginia Jeffrey, a victim, came forward and said that Epstein bragged about sleeping with over 1,000 of Brunel's girls. After Epstein's death, Brunel went into hiding because he knew he'd probably be next. So police started investigating Brunel and arrested him on charges of human trafficking, criminal conspiracy, and sexual assault, all involving minors. While awaiting trial, he was found hanging in his prison cell, just like Epstein. Now, a friend of both Brunel and Epstein in the same modeling world was Paolo Zampoli. He was actually Melania Knauss's modeling agent. He filed her H-1B visa paperwork. He even said that she wasn't working for money in the US prior to receiving the visa because that's illegal. But that was a lie, because she actually had been paid over $20,000 for 10 different modeling gigs in America prior to obtaining her visa, which is immigration fraud. Paolo Zampoli, her accomplice, is the one who introduced her to her husband, Donald Trump. Back to Jackie, she started modeling in late high school in Florida, and no matter how hard I look, I can't find her modeling agency.
Hey man, what happened to Antonio Brown, son? Who's this guy right here, dog? Huh? Who is this? He doesn't even know where he's going, bro. Who is this? This is not Antonio Brown. I don't care what nobody says. Look, he's lost. Look. He said, hey, where you going, bro? Look, what the? Who is this guy, bro? He's going in circles. First thing first, why was there a food truck outside of the prison? Yo, I've seen enough. Because this is not Antonio Brown, dogs. Are you kidding me? This is Antonio Brown, son. I don't care what nobody says. Mind you guys, he was only behind the wall for 7 days. That's what they're saying. So how does he come out looking like a totally different person? He looks lost, like he was in there for years. I had enough of this, bro. This is not Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, where are you, dogs? People want to know. This is what they're saying. I don't know. I think that's him. But who knows at this point? This is Antonio Brown. That other guy is Antonio. There's a big difference. Oh, man. Are you guys kidding me with this? I'm getting tired of this. This guy looks like he's in a video game. I don't know what's going on here, guys. Entertainment purposes only. I'm happy that Antonio Brown was let out. Hopefully this goes well for him. I don't think that's Antonio Brown. Do you think that's Antonio Brown? I don't know. Let me know. I'm out.
They always target the children. You might know what this is. It's being sold directly to children from Legos. And yes, it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in Revelation 6. Of course, we'll get to it in a minute. They always have subliminal programming. And very important for kids because they are literal sponges taking in everything from the world. You know, it helps them create their narrative and what they believe they're living in. Why do they want these kids thinking they're living in the apocalypse? We'll get the Chinese mythology in 1 second, but first, of course, the white horse, the horse of conquest. the red horse, the horse of war, the black horse, the horse of inflation, and then the pale horse, where literal hell followed after him, and of course power was given to his rider, death over a fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword and with beast and with everything else. Always shout out to True Earther, otherwise I wouldn't have seen this. Selling it for $109.99. Of course they had to get the 3 6s in there, I mean, come on now. So I did a lot of searching in Chinese mythology, and in none of it were there ever 4 horsemen. There was one with 8, but not 4. And again, the colors, and even look at the black horse and his eyes being red. How symbolic, right? There is something very, very deep right here. Because if you pay attention to the media and everything happening right now, they are programming our children, specifically out of the pages of Revelation itself. Why? Because they want these things to come about, and they think they're going to defeat God. All the people that worship the devil think the devil is going to defeat God. We know he won't, but they'll try.
Emmanuel's lineage already loops back through centuries-old French banking houses that have intermarried with the Rothschilds since Napoleon's time. And Brigitte? That story starts in 1968, when Jean-Michel Trogneux, a young male heir from the Rothschild Lambert wing, was quietly flown to California, handed over to the final act of MK Ultra's successor program, hiding behind a performance arts institute in the Bay Area. 4 years of fractures, triggers, hormonal rewriting, and total identity erasure later, the subject returned to France as Brigitte, carrying one non-negotiable order: find the pre-selected teenage boy from the aligned bloodline, bind him forever, and deliver the future president of France, body and soul, straight into the Rothschilds' hands. That boy was Emmanuel. The order came from the top of the pyramid, and ever since, France hasn't had a president. It's had an occupied throne, with the oldest banking dynasty on earth pulling every string from the shadows. Never forget, we're speaking about the same family that created Israel.
Póngale el negrito que por
El que no se te va a quemar el jamón, güey. Porque es el único que vamos a tragar hoy.
A comer a qué cierran
Cierran la que así.
A lo mejor y por eso te dijo. Oye, mijo,
está bueno, mira.
Please tell me y'all have seen the videos of that lady with them 2 baby dolls and she acting like they real kids in the backseat of her car. Yes, y'all, I think this lady done lost her rabbit mind. This lady, the video starts with her in the car, she's driving, or she's parked at this point, and she's saying that she got the kids 2 Happy Meals from McDonald's, and she starts passing the Happy Meals to the back seat. And she said one on one of their laps, the other one is sitting directly behind her. So you can't see that doll baby behind her. But then she starts to talk about, she's not sure what toy is going to be in the Happy Meal, and she hoped they're both the same or whatever. I guess so the girls don't start fighting or whatever. It seems weird, but then she's like, well, I'm gonna get in the back seat with them. I'm like, why the hell is she getting in the back seat? So she climbs over the console, sits in between their car seats, in the middle seat, in the back seat. And then she was like, yeah, it's not enough room. Let me just put them in the front. So I'm zoning in on a baby doll that's in camera, the baby that's in camera view. And I'm like, damn, why is she just sitting there like this? So I'm like, that's strange.
Scientists have developed the world's first wireless mind control system.
Control mice with the flick of a switch. The mice were engineered with nanoparticle activated switches in their brains and then turning on a magnetic field. They're calling the tech magnetogenic interface for neurodynamics, or nanomind for short.
So what they use is called a viral vector. A viral vector is a virus, adreno-associated viruses. They change the RNA and DNA. That's how they program viruses. Once they get in, they can replicate. They inject this virus. The virus is used to deliver this genetic code, and then it mutates inside your brain. They're called ion channels. And then these ion channels, they stick to these magnetic nanoparticles. And then whenever there's a magnetic field, it kind of pulls a torque on those nanoparticles. And then the brain interprets that torque as activation for neurons. And then if they have multiple nanoparticles in other areas, and then they allow these magnetic fields to activate in certain sequences, certain neuron paths will open in certain patterns. Auditory or visual, your frontal lobe, which then will cause you to do certain activity or feel certain things. And it's done wirelessly. Imagine if all these drones sending electromagnetic pulses through your phone, through your smart glasses, and then they can have an EEG device in there to read the waves, verify that things are being changed, and then sending new pulses to activate more actions.
Me exposing the men that I stuck with wasn't going to help anybody. Unless you're Tamar Braxton and you need to know that your husband is DL or...
How did Tamar get in this? What do you know about Tamar?
Well, Vince was my first sugar daddy. You gotta listen. Listen.
I need a minute.
Yeah.
What pairs should you get?
Yeah. These ones? I never know how many to get.
Do you believe in a casting coach? Is that a real thing?
One time I went into this, I ain't call his name, man, but I went into this producer's office. He called me. He wasn't a producer at the time. He was a manager, and he a big time producer now. I went into the office. I had to audition. He wanted me to. He sent me on audition. He was my manager. Sent me on audition, and I went. He said, "Well, come to my office first. I want to see how you do it." I'm like, "This kind of strange. I never go to my manager office to audition." I went in, and show him how to do it. And I went in, man. He was sitting behind the desk with his underwear on, and his body all greased up, man. I was like, "Wow." So I did the audition. I got to go, man. I don't want to be late. He said, "Yeah, it's just hot in here. It's hot in here." I said, "Yeah."
This is the spirit science behind mind control through symbolism. For thousands of years, mystics have used symbolism as a way to influence reality. In nearly every ancient esoteric tradition such as Hermeticism, Vedic sciences, the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, the occult, symbols have been used as a foundational tool for encoding and transmitting spiritual knowledge. But as above, so below, everything has its duality, and elites are definitely using this in order to manipulate the masses. How? By twisting the meaning of sacred symbols and turning them into icons of movements that are against humankind. For example, you most likely know this as the Nazi symbol. This actually comes from the dharmic symbols, the swastika, which is a symbol for good fortune and spiritual harmony. Same with the KKK with their white attires and pink hats. Come from capirotes in Spain and are symbols for spiritual elevation and complete devotion to God. The moment that these twisted symbols came out with their movements, people thought that they were part of something awakened, that they could see somebody that nobody else could. Now we can see it's not really the case. Same thing happening to the quote-unquote woke community, who took a term that was meant to mean awakened and enlightened. Woke was also a powerful term that actually helped revolutionize African Americans in times of segregation. They took it and turned it into a political movement of hyper-emotional and very confused individuals that have a moral superiority complex but are really just performative. Red Pill and the Matrix meant to symbolize truth and awakening, being used to label men that are overtaken by their ego, lack emotion, and disrespect the feminine energy. Of course, the rainbow, which in many ancient cultures is seen as the symbol of enlightenment, a combination of the 7-color spectrum and the mastery over the physical, now turned into the pride flag and missing one stripe, the light blue one, which is correlated to the throat chakra, the chakra of truth and purity. While these groups label themselves with symbols of truth and awakening, you really couldn't be more stuck in a matrix than these two. Already covered in these 2 videos here why I believe these groups are manufactured extremes and psychological movements by elites meant to keep men and women trapped in energetic distortion and easier to control. If you want a full YouTube breakdown on the distortion of symbols, comment yes and I'll make it.
Okay.
other
is
side.
the opposite. Yeah, it's basically.
We've been living in this world where we are literally teaching our children a lie every time.
Yo me reí cuando me dijo, porque a mí no me da miedo. A mí no me da miedo nada. Yo ando y no me da miedo, pero no sé qué saber que sí se me enchinó el cuero, pero sí era los caballos.
Sí, el ruido y todo.
La carreta rechinaba, las cadenas. No. Entonces, sí, por eso yo creo que a lo mejor me puse yo medio malacón acá, pero yo nunca me había dado miedo y ese día sí me dio miedo. Yo tampoco creía, la verdad, yo no creía, porque él me dijo mi suegro. Bueno, mi suegro y mi suegra, pues ya se fallecieron, ¿verdad? Pero cuando se llegó el momento, y ya que a la 1 de la mañana, algo así, miré yo y me arrimé. La verdad que yo no soy miedoso, pero a veces se me enchinó el cuero.
En Internet se volvió popular un video en el que el artista y creador de armaduras de fantasía, Franco Gallo, se lleva un susto causado por su propia obra, una imponente armadura de Sauron, del Señor de los Anillos.
Can gene mutations be repaired in one body?
Of course, Master, you absolutely control your genetic codes. Epigenetics is your gene patterns are created through your thoughts. So that's what genes are. Genes are not passed on, thought is passed on. Did you hear us? Genes are not passed on, thought is passed on. Your genes respond to your thoughts. Your thought, your body is thought and emotion actualized. Your DNA holds and houses any option for your genes to demonstrate themselves through any costume variation. We literally want you to consider this. Your DNA spiral helix is like a closet full of costumes. Seriously, it's like the biggest walk-in closet that you have ever experienced. It's like theater room for every type of embodied role that you have ever experienced. And since you're all one, that means every sentient being that has ever experienced. Yes, that's how many costumes you carry as an option in your spiral helix in your DNA. Your genes will usually pick your costume for you. So pick your costume with consciousness, Master. You do change your genes through your thought. It's called epigenetics, and we encourage you to study it and come out smiling and smelling like a rose.
Miren, ya tiene buen rato mi mamá hablando con no sé quién. ¿A quién estás viendo? ¿Por qué estás mirando para arriba? Mamá, te estoy hablando. ¿Qué estás viendo? ¿A quién ves? Mamá.
This man developed this strange obsession with his wife, and one day he caught her doing something very strange. Look what she's doing to his drink. Do you think this is the reason why he's so upset?
The woke community is a perfect example of how fallen yin energy, aka Luciferian consciousness, shows up. And when I say Lucifer, I don't mean it the way that Christians do. I mean it esoterically, because Lucifer is the impulse of consciousness of when somebody falls into the extreme of the feminine, aka the false light. There are two primordial energies that are recognized in ancient cultures as the batteries of creation. And these are inside of everything and everybody, the masculine and feminine energies, with the feminine energy being the creative void and the matrix itself, and the masculine energy is what takes that creative energy and directs it, encodes it into actual existence. I made this little graph right here to give you a better understanding. So basically, in order for us to have more conscious control over our reality, we must be working in harmony together. With the feminine energy being the connection to the internal world, right? The portal to the spirit, the subconscious mind, the emotion, creative force, and the masculine energy being the connection to the external world, the conscious mind, the identity, aka the ego, and the willpower to take action, make this a reality. When you neglect the masculine energy, you get rid of your ability to discern, to take action, your willpower, and you go into the extreme of the feminine, which is the victim mindset, okay? The moral complex, the emotional chaos, because you're lacking order. Let's address why I say the woke community is a perfect example of this. First of all, they tend to glamorize and try to normalize hypersexual behaviors. It happens as a result of a lack of will and discipline and self-love, of course, because you don't have a strong identity. It's not a surprise that somehow they're all dealing with some sort of identity issue. It's also very clear that hypersensitivity and emotional chaos is very prominent in this community. They also lack a lot of willpower and order. They tend to want movements such as socialism, communism, all wanting more free stuff without them having to actually put in any work. The biggest things about this archetype is the victim mentality and the moral complex. You have a lot of that connection to the emotions and to the collective. You tend to want to fight for justice and things like that, which are awesome, but in this scenario, it manifests in a pretty negative way. Because of the principle of rhythm or hermeticism that states the pendulum swings to the left as it does to the right, people who are in this extreme of the feminine are also going to manifest extreme of the masculine traits such as narcissism and self-centeredness. Standing up for different causes from a selfish standpoint to validate themselves and belong to something instead of actually caring. And if you don't agree with them, you're cancelled. The government loves to put people on this extreme through entertainment, because when you're on this extreme, you're easier to manipulate because you don't have an identity. You don't have a part of you that is like, no, this is what I want, your discernment. Ones doing the controlling are in this extreme, the masculine, and they need a submissive audience. That's why they give people labels such as woke to make them think that they can see something that other people can't, and so they never actually get out of this illusion.
Stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke.
So I don't say this at all to judge, but it's super important for us to have this conversation, to discern what is and isn't working in the society, so we don't normalize things that are going to take us to our downfall. Comment yes for a full YouTube breakdown.
Oh man, this has got me. This is off-putting walking into this. Not worth, yeah. Okay, yeah. Not sure if you ever heard of the religion Scientology. Yeah, this is a new one. Ooh, fasten your seatbelts for this one. It's founded in the 1950s. It's a man-made religion.
Who was the most controlling person in your life?
Probably my Aunt Martha.
When she got angry or very emotional, what would she say?
You're nothing but a fat Albanian ginger.
Okay, good. Repeat it.
You're nothing but a fat Albanian ginger.
Good, repeat it.
You're nothing. Their main belief is that humans used to be aliens in a planet. And then the main alien, his name was Xenu. Xenu decided he had too many aliens on a few planets. So he froze them into like icicle pops or something. And then sent them to... Ah, qué bueno. ¿Es un regalo para mí?
Y uno para él.
Ah, me gusta mucho. Ciao.
Ciao.
Now, you disappeared from the internet for a minute. You understand me? You had the whole world worried about you. You understand me? What was going on and who was after you?
So, I don't know exactly who was after me. You know, in time, all will be revealed. I may or I may not ever know, but I'll tell you this. It was expected, and I was ready for it. What happened, I had a few odd things happen throughout this entire year for me. What happened first in January, I was driving. I work out of Alabama, so I commute. It's about 4 hours to and from every time I want to work on the machine. Anyways, I was driving, and my car started shaking a ton. Pulled over just in time, because by the time I made it to the gas station, my driver's side wheel had one lug nut left on it. And then both of my tires had all the lug nuts loosened. That happened in January. Then in April, I was out working on my machine. I work in a very isolated location. At this time, it was never publicized online anywhere. Nobody knew. I was out there, and then a helicopter, black helicopter came out. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and it flew over me. I was like, okay, whatever. It was flying really low, though, almost at the tree line. Then it flew back around. I said, oh, okay, interesting. Then it did it again. And then it turned on a spotlight, shined it right at me, got it on video, right? And then so it circled me a total of 6 times in a very isolated area, so isolated that there's not even a hospital nearby unless you drive about 40 minutes, right? And then I went to go on a website to look, this flight radar. It tracks all helicopters, all planes. Helicopter wasn't even on there. It's illegal for a helicopter to do that unless it's CIA, military, government. Even police helicopters usually show up there. So that happened. And then come July, I had a very intense cyber attack that started. I started to get really weird signs. Like sometimes I would be texting my family members, and then they would get a text of what I sent them. Right? Or sometimes I'd be saying things out loud, and then people around me would get text of what I'm saying. And then, so then I made a video letting the world know. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but something weird is going on, so just keep your eyes open. Because I didn't know what degree or to what level, whatever this force was within my things. And then all of a sudden, the cyber attack, the real cyber attack started. I realized my phone was completely tapped. Phone calls, messages, phone logs, every social media, everything on my phone, iCloud, my whole iCloud, completely tapped. Somebody, I figured out that somebody or some group, well, certainly a group of people, they had been in my phone since, as far as I know, at least January, just watching everything I did, every text message, every photo, every picture. I mean, could you guys imagine that? Just to know that there was literally no privacy, right? For 6 months, somebody was in there watching.
Apariciones de ovnis, parte 1, Giovanni. El ovni. Oye, el ovni. Saqué la cámara para grabarlo y mira, se escondió. Ahí está.
¿Qué verga es eso, güey?
Eso, ¿quién sabe?
Aquí hay un descubierto, mira.
¿Qué es eso?
¿Hay una antena o algo, no?
Yo no hay nada. Hacho, un ovni viejo. Tiene la forma del ovni. Por Dios santo. Hacho, ¿quién sabe de dónde?
Yo no lo vi,
Hacho, tiene forma de ovni.
Pero yo no lo vi cuando veníamos.
Yo tampoco. ¿Qué madre será eso? ¿Qué es?
Ryan, what's going on? Can I go with my friends? Why is that? What's going on here? They let you out?
Yeah, but look, terrorism, Schedule 7. But what did you actually do for them to suspect that? They said it was my social media posts.
They can take the Sharia law and shove out.
There's only one culture that pours acid on women's faces. So yeah, for against mass migration and Islam. Exactly. So I had to give them all my passwords for my phone, all my passwords for my social media, all my laptop. They've taken all my phones, laptop, everything, banking, everything. I was saying the truth that Prophet Muhammad slept with a 9-year-old and married a 6-year-old, which makes him a pedophile. So that's what I was saying. And now I'm getting investigated for terrorism. This is way worse than I could ever have thought. I thought I'd just be a normal criminal, like being done for hate speech, but I don't want to get done for being a terrorist. That's something different. So I mean, the consequences are more severe. Yeah, well, if I go to jail for being a terrorist, then that's a lot worse than just hate speech.
There's a theory if you record static long enough, you'll eventually hear your own voice whispering things you never said, and people think they finally know why. It's called the whisper and static, and once you hear this, you'll never listen to white noise the same way again. For years, paranormal researchers noticed something strange. If you record pure static for long enough, radio fuzz, untuned TV channels, white noise generators, eventually the static forms patterns. Not random noises, not interference, but words. And the terrifying part, most people say the voice sounds exactly like them, but saying things they don't remember ever saying. One man played back a 3-hour static recording and heard his own voice whisper, "You shouldn't have left." He lives alone. Another woman heard a voice say, "It's starting again." She swears she's never said those words in her life. Scientists try to debunk it as audio pareidolia, your brain making patterns out of noise, but here's the part nobody can explain. When researchers slowed down the waveforms, the whispers didn't match the person's speaking pattern, they matched their breathing pattern perfectly. Almost like the voice belonged to a version of them that wasn't breathing in sync with this reality. Some theorists say static isn't noise at all, it's the leftover signals from parallel timelines bleeding into ours. And the whispers, those are other versions of you, trying to reach the version that made it into this timeline. Others think it's simpler. White noise is what the universe sounds like when it's listening back. So if you ever hear your own voice whispering from the static, don't answer it. It might not be your voice at all. Stay weird.
If you look at Erica Kirk's ring, you'll see the letter G, but everyone always says, what does this G represent? Yes, it's Freemasonic, but this is the reason why guide, gnosis, geometry, Genesis, God all begins with a G, because it all relates to the generative principle. The generative principle is the force that creates all reality, which is care, or the heart, the love. All creation is created through love. You're watching this video right now because you care about gaining the information. And if you don't care, you'll take the action to scroll and find another video you care about. Whatever's in front of you in your reality, it's because of the G, the generative principle, the care energy. You only take action on what you care about. If you care about money, you'll take the actions to generate that reality. If you care about football, you'll take the actions to generate a football reality. So this is the G. This is the force that drives human action. This is why they say money makes the world go round, because everyone cares about money.
Your restaurant was 1 point away from being closed. So when your restaurant, when I have people, it's when you get 41 demerits. See, where's your score? You have to put the score back up now.
Yeah, but who let you come here?
Always has to stay posted.
No problem. Okay.
Yes, because that's against the law.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'm getting ready to leave, okay? But before I go, you must keep the grade up. It's a law. You have to.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so can you put it up, please?
Yes, okay, no problem.
Okay.
It's not this is not good. So it's
Yes, put more tape on it. All right, before I go, y'all, I have to let y'all know they're actually hiding their grade.
Okay.
Guys.
So who are you?
They're hiding. You can call the police, ma'am. It's okay. They're hiding their grade. It's a C, so just be careful when you eat here, okay? They was 1 point away from getting shut down. The thing is, you're going to get in trouble for kidnapping me, ma'am. So if I was you, I would just let me go.
See, it's the reversal. Look. See, he sits here. He's got the 2 women behind him. Yes, these are women. They're not men. That's why they're in dresses. Okay, these are women. Let me shrink this down a little bit. Bink. Okay, see these two women standing behind him that are connected by the blue lines? You know, the water that's running through it before it traverses downwards towards your spinal column? Sorry, I had to back it up. My bad. You see that? See these two women? Now look at the shape of his head. What do you see? What's that? The two women and Osiris? Man, look, y'all can't tell me nothing, man. Look, it's right in front of your face. It's the same people. It's the same information. It's the same knowledge. It's the same wisdom. The reason that there's two women is because your emotions go either way. You understand the concept there? Your emotions can go either way for the situation. So it's the two that hold up the king.
Hi. In order to protest, you have to have a permit. We rented the permit.
Oh, we're not protesting. We're just spreading the gospel.
No, we're not. You can do that.
We're not protesting.
Anything.
We
We're
never
just
protest.
exercising our free speech and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yep. You can do that at the courthouse square.
No, we can do that here.
So is
This
this
is legal.
on public property for us to share the gospel?
Public property. This is a rented space that we have paid to rent.
This looks like
It's a public
sidewalk.
event.
This is not. This is part of the park.
Is this not a public event?
It's not closed off. The public's free to enter.
Closed to the public?
Yeah, so
We would-
you have to be a vendor as part
We
of the
want
event.
to. We want.
We're not vending anything.
Know the rules.
To set up anything at all, you have to be a part
No,
of
we're not setting up anything.
No, we don't. We could set up in this park anytime we want with signs. It's called freedom of speech. Yep.
So she is a Parks Department employee.
Mhm.
She's advocating for the Parks Department.
Yeah, I understand.
And what she says is the rules that need to be followed. So
Well, but her rules can't trump the Constitution of the United States. And they can't trample upon the liberties of citizens.
you can say all that stuff. That's fine.
Okay.
It's not
The
just
rules
stuff.
are what we're going to go by. If you
It's
have a
the
problem
law.
with it, you can talk to the Parks Department director on Monday. Otherwise, you need to leave.
What's going to happen if we don't, sir?
We're going to have another conversation.
About what? Now, I'm not asking for weird things. I'm asking for very specifics. What are you going to do as an officer of the law?
Director has her here convey what their rules are.
Uh-huh.
So that's what's going to happen today.
I heard that she has said some things, but I don't understand why I have to oblige by them. So I'm still asking, what are you going to do as officers of the law? Those who enforce law, by the way, not her rules, okay? There is no law that says you can't have freedom of speech in the park. In fact, it's constitutionally protected.
We're not protesting.
We're not protesting. We're here to minister the gospel of Jesus Christ as Christians.
Share the gospel on a day that you would like to do that.
And we're free to do that today, too.
That's not how we're called.
We're free to do that here today as well. It's a constitutionally protected matter. There is lots of case law on this. It is a traditional public forum. It is protected by Constitution and case law. So what I'm asking you to, as officer of the law specifically, what are you going to do should we not leave? How are you going to handle that situation? Because I need to know what you're going to do.
Hang tight.
Okay, thank you.